Hello and welcome. My name is Diana, and this is the Death Pile Diva Show. And guess what? I'm the Death Pile Diva. On this show, I interview resellers about their death piles and give applicable advice. Today, I am joined by Deanna. I am so incredibly honored to have you on the show. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you so much. You are my second guest, so I'm, like this is obviously new for you, still new for me. So we're just gonna keep it loosey goosey. So, okay, tell me just like a little background. How long have you been reselling? The usual stuff, like where do you sell? Yada yada yada.
I was just saying this to someone yesterday that I always answer that question with 7 years, and I feel like I've been saying 7 years for the last 2 or 3 years. I think we're on 8 or 9. I'm not really sure. Um, it's been a while. It's been a minute.
When you're like, wait a second.
How long have I been
Years.
saying 7 years, right?
Right. Okay, so a definite bona fide amount of time. All right. And
Mhm.
then how many? So also just give a little blurb about Vendu, if you will, like your role, because Vendu is awesome if y'all don't know. So,
Yeah, so I'm a part-time reseller. Full-time, I'm a social media manager for Vendu, which is a cross-listing service for resellers. It also does inventory management. We have 10 marketplaces. We have 11 starting tomorrow. There's going to be a huge announcement that some people in this room maybe already know. But there's going to be a huge announcement tomorrow. And by the time this video comes out, it will be out.
right, right.
We'll have 11 fun marketplaces for you to cross list to. And it's great. I love working there.
Yeah, no, that's
Um,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. If you have any questions about Vendu, Deanna, or I mean, like she literally works for them, but like I also know a lot. So,
yes.
awesome. Okay, so been reselling a long time. You literally work for a company that like is in reselling. I mean, really like a pillar of reselling, if you will. So I'm just so honored to have you on the show. So, okay, let's talk closet and more or less like, your numbers, your inventory might be different on different platforms. We'll kind of just go with posh, but guesstimates.
Okay.
About like how big is your closet and also what do you sell? Like what types of items?
So although I've been trying to expand my horizons lately, I mostly sell women's fashion. I mostly stick to vintage or trendy items that sell on Depop. So those are my two kind of main things, go-to things. And I'm absolutely obsessed with vintage jewelry. I have tons of it. That's what I'm gonna do my live shows on. Because I really have bought too much to list at this point. Um, but I love vintage jewelry. I just sent some to Erin the reseller, and she unboxed it on her Instagram today. I just am obsessed. She got earrings, which I love to see because my ears are not pierced, so I only wear the clip-ons.
Okay.
But I'm obsessed with the rings. I have so many rings that like I just won't give up and sell because I found it's mine.
Yeah, right.
Um,
They're all mine. Yeah.
on listed right now on Poshmark and then across the other platforms is like around 600
Okay,
items.
cool. I think that's more or less, I mean, this is me making an assumption based on really nothing, but I feel like that's about where maybe the majority of resellers are. Like somewhere like 500, give or take 100,
Mhm.
something like that.
Especially part-time. If you're full-time, maybe you can do more than that, but it's like I kind of stay at this level now because like I'm selling at the same time as I'm listing. I'm not listing so fast that my inventory is growing and growing and growing, right? Because I'm also selling at the same time. And I'm usually staying around in between 5 and 600, even if I'm listing 100 or 150 a month. So,
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, and that's as we all know, it's important to keep things moving. Awesome. Okay, so we have about 600, yeah, so a couple hundred. Now talk to me about Unlisted.
my God. So a while back, like how do I even start this? A
Right.
while back when I felt that I had an out of control death pile, I was like, oh, first thing I have to do is count so I know exactly how many items are in this death pile and go on. Okay, so that did that did not help me at all. I didn't learn my lesson. I didn't learn a thing after that exercise, and I just kept adding to this death pile. So
So can I just say you were the second person to say that? Because I'm always like, count your death pile. And now you're literally the second person. Like yesterday was the first where it was like that literally like nope. So so
well,
maybe
and now I
not.
have so much. I feel like it might even be a waste of time to sit and count it because I actually have a lot. I definitely have more unlisted than I have listed. So I'm definitely have more than 600 items.
Okay.
And if you want to count the jewelry, I a lot more because I buy that in bulk in really large quantities. So,
Right.
um, but yeah, it's a lot. And I was taking over the house with I keep all my inventory in bins. I do like the bin system. And I was taking up a good portion of the garage and a good portion of the basement. And, my husband wanted to do stuff with those spaces. So I ended up getting a storage unit.
Yeah.
So now my listed inventory is stored off-site.
Okay.
And it was not long before my unlisted bins of inventory started migrating over there as well, which is really a bad idea because honestly, if it's here, it's more accessible to list and it's in my face and I know it's here and I got to sit and list it. Where it's like it's in the storage unit, it's like I can already see that that's probably going to be a problem. So I might want to not, or I might want to rethink that because I'm doing it for space. But if I ever want to get it listed, it probably needs to be here at the house with me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough, especially yeah, if you have that extra space. Like a lot of people, yeah, if in your garage, in a shed, in like an outdoor storage area. And a lot of times when it's like we know, out of sight, out of mind. And if you can, like, do you visit it on like a regular schedule or just when like you need to or
When I sell stuff mostly, but sometimes I go out there just to like reorganize things or to check. I kind of go through bins every once in a while and see which ones are like getting low, and I make a note of that. And then when I'm at home, I list stuff that's going to go in that bin, and I take it up there.
okay.
So
Nice. So you kind of see like which categories are depleting and then like replenish those. Nice.
yeah, like it's not sorted like that. It's just random stuff in the bins, but
Yeah.
um, I don't number each item. It's just like,
Yeah.
in Vendu, it says that this jumpsuit is in bin 34. When I
Oh,
go to get it to
okay.
ship it, if bin 34 is like half empty, I make a note of that on my phone, and then I know I can add more stuff to that.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I like that. Okay, so we definitely have a routine of like when things are listed, then it goes here and da da da. Da. So, tell me about like your listing process and even like the emotional side of it. Is it the worst thing you've ever experienced in your life? Is it like okay, like a daily chore? Like, what's your process?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. First, I'm gonna do something really obnoxious. Alexa, turn off the alarm. Okay, sorry. I actually had an alarm set so I wouldn't forget that I had this interview, and it just started going off in the other room. Uh,
That's a really good point. Let me just double check. Okay, we're good. Yep.
that's my whole life, like all day long from, because if I didn't, I would be missing meetings and
Oh,
all sorts of
right.
stuff.
And reminders and
So,
alarms and yeah. It's like what?
yep. Um, my listing process, is that what was the question?
Yes.
Um, so I usually batch photograph because since I do work during the day,
Mhm.
I have limited amount of daylight hours to do photographs. And even with fancy light setups, it's never as nice as when it's nice and daylight outside. When it's dark and I'm trying to use my ring lights, it looks like there's a spotlight shining on the thing. Like no
Right.
matter what I do, it just cannot replicate that daylight effect. So,
Yep. I hear
um,
you.
yeah, so I really prefer to do the photos during the day, except for small stuff like jewelry's easy at night because you can build kind of like a little light box for yourself and put it in there. Or you can buy one.
Yeah.
We like to make stuff here, like
Right.
makeshift
Yeah.
things,
Crafting.
throw things together.
That's right.
Um, but so I usually try to batch photograph and I usually do it on my lunch hour, and just try to do as many items as I can.
Okay.
And then later, when I have time, I edit the photos and I upload them. I actually upload them from my phone to Vendu through the app and just create drafts. I don't put a title, I don't put nothing, not a thing, just the photos. and just go on to the next one, add all the photos, next, add all the photos, next. So that will be like the second step. And then I will go to my computer to finish the listings. Um,
That's awesome. I do pretty much the
mm,
same, like the exact same, including, yeah, I'll just put all the photos in the drafts. Yeah, because for me, I realized like for some reason, I mean, I guess logically, like photos were one thing and then titles and descriptions were another. And having to do both, even for just for one item, I was like, oh, my brain, I can't. So, so
yeah.
it's done that time, and then you get in a little groove, which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm really impressed. I mean, listing on your lunch break, like that is serious dedication. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
bravo.
I don't my goal is to try to not spend too much time at night. When my kids are home and like weekends is a time for me to list because my kids are teenagers now, so they have like their own lives. They're not just like they have stuff to do too.
You mean they're
So
not here all the time, always attached at your hip?
it's better. Um but yeah, so on the weekends, I like there's a few hours during the day where, yeah, it's just pretty much I can just list and but then the rest of the time I want to be spending time with my husband and my kids and stuff. And yeah, sometimes they complain that I work too much. So
Listen, moms, we can never be perfect, right? Like, you work too much, you're not doing enough. Do more
no.
housework, do less housework. Like, okay.
Mm.
Okay, awesome. So, and I love that goal. I was actually going to ask kind of a little similar, like, do you have I guess, an inventory goal where like, because I know some people I
Mhm.
think people think, I think, yeah, wow, that I think like you should never have unlisted inventory. That's literally impossible, right? That's like not how this does would function. Um, so like what would your space look like in your like ideal world? What maybe like on average would you have like unlisted inventory? Like what would that kind of look like? I know it's a really vague question.
Well, I think that I would much rather have a unlisted inventory of like 100 or 150 items rather than, like the 800 or whatever I have now. I think that's reasonable for me. It depends on your living space. If I was in an apartment, I would probably feel differently about having 150 unlisted items in my room. But also, like, I think it's okay to have just a reasonable number of items in your closet. I know there are people that have thousands of items in their closets, but when you're talking about like eBay, that sounds like a really good idea. For
Mhm.
Poshmark, it doesn't sound like as good of an idea because you have to share all those items and you can only have so many shares a day. So it's like you have to maximize actually having a middle-sized closet. Small, not so great because people can't bundle and they don't have as much choices. But too large is also a problem because the things aren't getting shared regularly.
Yeah.
So I even have seen some things similarly on Depop where two different sellers will be saying like I have 2,000 items and this person has 300 items and they sell more than I do.
Mhm.
Um, because on Depop is similar to Poshmark where you have to like be bumping listings and you have to be doing all the things just like you're doing on Poshmark.
Right.
So sometimes having a smaller closet can help on some of the platforms. So, just to be kind of in the middle, I feel like is okay. I feel like it's okay to be six between 600 and 1,000 items. I don't think you have to have like 3,000 items listed to be successful or to be full-time or to make a lot of sales.
Yeah, not at all. Like I'm a small closet gal. I generally like closet stuff between 150 and 200. Then if a live show is coming up, like bump that up by probably 100. And I'm full time. Like it's a lot of like just turnover. We're
Yeah.
just always moving. But yeah, that's a really, really good point. Okay, I love that goal. Like just being moderate in moderation, right in the middle. That's perfect, right? We don't want to be either extreme, really. Okay, so now talk to me about sourcing. What are your sourcing habits?
So this is another like it depends on where you live thing because I'm watching people's like bins videos and they're finding all this amazing stuff. Certain people I follow, I'm like, did they really find all I don't know. Did they really find all that stuff at the bins? I don't know. Some people are showing themselves at the bins, so I know that they found other things at the bins, but mine are terrible. And so I've gone a few times and now I really only go for novelty. Like if somebody is in from out of town and they want to go to the Goodwill outlet,
Right.
that's really the only time I go there. And then thrifting, kind of the same thing. I started out, the thrill of the hunt was like the fun part, and the sourcing was the fun part. And to be honest, like I'm doing this to make money. This
Right.
is a business. So at a certain point, like, is it a hobby or is it a business? Like, if it's just because it's fun to shop, then it's a hobby, you know? So for me, the easier thing to do and the more um like cost efficient way to go
Mhm.
about it was to start buying in bulk. And so I started buying in bulk in I've done a couple of pallets. I like doing the boxes, just like those big boxes like I unboxed the other day. Um, a little bit more just because it's more manageable than, a pallet's like 400 or more items. That's a
Yeah.
lot to get
Yeah,
all at
that's
once.
a lot.
If I was doing live sales all the time, I would love to be like getting the pallets all the time and like doing it that way.
Right.
But I don't turn stuff over fast enough. So,
Yeah.
um, but I do pretty much buy in bulk most of the time. Jewelry, I usually buy in bulk.
Mhm.
But that I do usually through either like online auction or um uh some of the places in my area sell like the big giant jars of random jewelry that you can go
Yes.
through, and I
Oh,
love
those are
that.
so pretty. I just
Yeah.
like want the jar full of jewelry. Like I just want to keep it like
I know. I just have, and I just, so then now I just have all these empty vases all over my house. Like this one, I have all the little jewelry bags stuffed inside, but like empty because they all came in like
right.
vases like this. And
Right.
then you only need so many vases. I don't know. I'll have
Right.
to sell
Right.
them eventually.
Yeah.
Um,
Yard sale.
yeah, I love those. That's fun to go through. It also gives you content if you're like posting on social media.
For sure.
And all the things that are not sellable, I actually keep them in a separate little bin to be reused in like upcycling projects in the future. So
Love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's fantastic. Especially jewelry. Feel like you can really get crafty and do some super cool. I mean, make new jewelry. You can add stuff to bags or jackets or I mean, like you could just have a lot of fun.
yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to I need to save up like a good amount so I have a bunch to choose from
Right.
uh for a project. But yeah, I'm saving it up.
Creative mind needs options.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, and also just to point out, I'm also very similar in this. It's very almost like this exact same pattern. I tried the bins. It just didn't work for me. I don't, people in my area do find good stuff. I don't, whatever. Like, okay. Um, then thrifting, unfortunately, my thrift stores are just bonkers. And yeah, had to completely pivot and now do a lot of like online bulk type stuff or estate sale, like, give me all the things. Um, yeah, so just interesting how, we're kind of on the same path. Makes me feel good. Anyway. Okay,
Yeah. I
so
will say a lot of my vintage finds do still come from like estate sales, antique stores, things like that because they're vintage. Um, there are some places you can buy vintage in bulk, but to find really good stuff, you kind of got to choose it yourself, right?
yes.
But for everything else, yeah, I do the online ordering, bulk auctions, liquidation, things like that.
Mhm. Okay. And now, so wait, we said so your death pile, unlisted inventory, that's still somewhat in the house, and then like also in sort like we're in a kind of a
About
blend in both, or
Yeah, it's about half and half right now.
okay, okay. Let's see. Where would you like to start? Do you want to start with the stuff that's at home or travel?
So at home right now, I do have some good stuff to list. I recently went to a antique mall spring sale where everything was on sale, and I had two shopping carts full of stuff when I left there. It was crazy. Antique malls, the prices are higher. People are actually they're it's not, it's not an estate sale, it's not a garage sale. It's like people are actually they're trying to make money on their items.
Right.
But twice a year, this amazing antique mall by my house, it's like one of those funky cool ones.
Yep.
Um, it has a huge sale and they let all the vendors choose their own percentage off. So you just go
Ooh.
to the different booths and it has a big sign, it'll tell you what the percentage off it is. And it's anywhere from 10% to 50 or 60% off. So I go through those and pick out stuff, and it's kind of good for me that it's only occasional, like once or twice a year, because I
Oh my
buy a lot
God.
of stuff during those. I stock up on the vintage stuff when I'm there.
Yeah.
So I have all the stuff from that haul.
Okay.
I just started listing it the other day. So I'm kind of working my way through that,
Nice.
and that's here at the house. And
Yeah.
I went to the storage unit the other day and I specifically picked out kind of like a little, IKEA bag, tote bag type bag full of some like spring, you know, picks that I could be getting started on. So a
Okay.
little mix of both. I've got some at-home inventory and some storage unit inventory that I'm working on.
Good. I like that. And how do you feel like because I know we talked about like your listing, but like how is your listing and like sourcing and listing ratio? Do you feel like you source faster than you can list, or are we kind of like at a good pace and we just need to like pick up listing a little bit more?
Yeah, because I prefer to buy in bulk, it's
Mhm.
gotten to the point where I've oversourced, need to step away. The only things that I'll do right now are things that are, how do I put this? Like there's like a time limit or a special event.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
that spring sale, I know it's every spring, and it just happened a couple, 2 weekends ago. Um, and it's only once a year. So yeah, I still went to that.
Right. Yeah, that's
Um,
special. Yeah.
yeah. And one of my liquidation companies, I had a bunch of affiliate credit that was built up that I needed to spend. So I ended up getting like that last huge box I got everything for like $3 a piece. So like I had to jump on that. So if it's not something like that though, I'm not doing it right now. I'm not going, it's garage sale season and I'm not even out there. I went to my neighbor's garage sale the other day and bought myself some antique furniture. But not to source to put in my house.
Right.
Um, but I'm not going out on the weekends and going to the garage sales and the estate sales like I was before.
Okay.
Because even if like I go to a estate sale and I just buy like a few pieces of jewelry, that's just like throw it on my hoard pile, right? Like
Right,
I'm not
right.
gonna go home and list that. It's just going on the pile like a dragon. I'm hoarding the jewelry for the apocalypse, I feel like. Um, it's gonna be like how I pay for things if the zombie apocalypse happens. It's my stockpile of
Got
jewelry.
clip-ons.
Yes. Trade you clip-ons for some batteries.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I need to get on it. I've thought of some different things, and I wanted to share with you in case it
Oh
helps
yeah.
anybody. Well, one thing is, hiring help is definitely a suggestion. Now, I have had terrible luck hiring help. I've tried twice to hire help photographing because that's what slows me down the most. I'm terrible at
Oh, okay.
photographing. I do not enjoy it. I do not like it. I am not good at it. So it's very slow.
Okay.
And then like I never like the pictures, but at a certain point I just have to move on. It's just like, okay, this is
Right.
as good as
Yeah.
it's gonna get. Um, and I do pretty simple photos to begin with, and I'm still pretty slow at it. So I tried to hire somebody twice. It like didn't work out. One time, the person came, went through, I spent all the time doing the training, and then she took all the stuff home with her. I even gave her like stuff to take home with her, lights and all this stuff, so she could do it at home because she had little kids.
Okay. Yeah.
And after one day, she decided she couldn't do this and the mom thing at the same time. So she brought all the stuff back.
Oh my God.
The second time I got someone from my kid's high school. She came and she worked like all day and I thought like this is great. But then I was looking at the photos and I ended up retaking like half the photos. So that didn't work out. So I'm like, where do I go next? The only reliable help I've ever gotten is my own son, my 16-year-old. He's good, but he has very limited time to help me with my business. He's got like a social life.
Right.
So
Ah,
and
good.
theater and school and homework and all,
Heavy
homework.
young.
Homework, second second priority.
Yeah.
But
And yeah, schoolwork, whatever.
yes. So sometimes he can help me, especially in the summer, but hiring, I'm definitely not opposed to hiring help. I would try it again, see if I could find someone.
Mhm.
The other thing that I'm doing recently, and I need to get my next batch going, is consigning out to another reseller. So, yeah. So,
Yeah, Bride
like
Consigns. Yep.
Bri
Yeah,
Consigns. Yeah,
she
I'm just
just
like, she
changed her
changed
name.
her
Yeah.
name. Because it was like it was Bri the Thrift before.
Right.
Um, yeah. So I sent her a big pile of stuff and she has it listed. It is selling. I just got a payment today of stuff that she sold for me. And now I'm getting together more stuff to send over her way. So I feel like, I mean, obviously I would make more money if I sold that stuff myself, but like I said, we're past the critical point here. We're past the point where I can catch up. So I need to do something. So my two main things I'm going to do is send some of the inventory to her.
Love that.
And I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet and do some live shows. Um,
I was like, say
I,
live show, say it, say
I
it.
did some when Whatnot first came out and I signed up for Whatnot and I did some and I've done a couple of past shows, but like, they're not my favorite. And, or in the past they were not my favorite, but I'm going to give it another try now. I feel like I'm a whole new person this year than I was in the previous years. I
Literally.
lost a
Yeah.
lot of weight this year.
Yeah.
I feel different. I have more energy. I feel more comfortable on camera. Just a lot of things have changed in the last year. So I think I'm going to give live selling another chance. And get rid of some of this inventory, especially things like I'm going to separate out stuff like, okay, I don't have to make a certain amount on this stuff. I just need it to go away.
Right.
So, and that stuff can be sold, on what low starting points, because they don't have as big of fees as like Poshmark.
Right.
And then definitely the jewelry. The whole point of buying all this jewelry was to do live sales. So,
Yeah. Definitely. Yes, and so fantastic consigning and to a fellow reseller. Like how fantastic is that? Not only are you making money, you're helping her make money, like you're growing together. I think
mhm.
that's fantastic. Yeah, so definitely I keep in my head, I'm like, I'm definitely gonna put like text in the video and like bride consigns and all this stuff. And like it's probably not gonna happen. So like just check the caption, everyone.
Yep.
Um
Just make
like
sure.
yeah, like, there's not a lot of editing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so consigning is fantastic and live shows, it's a really great way to move a lot of inventory. It's definitely a different business model, and it takes a little to get used to, like financially and even just routinely. But I honestly like it. It's probably currently one of the best ways to help move that death pile. And I just also want to say, like, you just seem so bright. Like you've always been amazing and fantastic, but like it's like you've grown even brighter in the past like couple of months or whenever, like, and I'm just so excited for you. Like I think live shows are going to be fantastic. The first one's going to suck. I'm just going to tell you now. The first one's not going to be good. But then after that, it'll get better. You just got to do the first one and have, your three friends there and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for the jewelry ones because I'm actually for the jewelry ones, you usually have the camera turned away from you and you're showing like the item on the camera and not you. So that's nice. But I do need to get rid of some of this clothing too. So it's gonna go uh on some kind of auction, probably.
Okay. I like it. Yeah, you got a plan and like I mean, you're making everything happen. Like you said, you're more more spry now instead of prior.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I have more energy.
Yeah, and that I mean, huge for live shows. So I think you're like on the right path. Do you feel like it would be hard to just limit sourcing a little bit while you're kind of getting your
It
inventory
is hard.
moving?
Yeah, it's already hard. Yeah, it's already hard. Because like I said before, that's the hobby part. That's the fun part, and that's what it's motivating. And, like when you're just listing things, especially if you're having a bad month, like I'm having a terrible sales month this month. But last month was like one of my best months I've ever had. So it's so roller coaster right now. Um, And because of you, I did turn on my Posh My Promoted Closet today. So we'll see if it works. If it does, no, no.
You're right.
If it works or if it doesn't.
I get so many
But
refunds.
but yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it's month after month, like a bad month, great month, bad month, great month. Like
Yeah,
nothing in between. It's either nothing selling or everything selling.
right.
Um,
I think reselling, at least for the last year, has been consistently inconsistent. Like
yep.
it's just always different, and that's the new norm.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me thankful I'm not a full-time reseller right now. I did it full-time for a little while.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and it was difficult. I had multiple side hustles going on, and
Hmm.
I'm stripping some of those away now. Like I'm not actively doing them, but they're still like there. Like
For sure.
I did like print on demand, and I still have my print on demand stuff, and I still make like, I don't know, like $150 a month or something, just leaving it there and not touching it. Um,
Also,
and I did like some freelance writing and things like that. But like you had to, because you did not know month to month if it was going to be a good month or not.
mhm.
In the beginning, yes. During quarantine, yes. Like it was gangbusters. It was like all the time
Oh,
shipping, huge piles of packages out. And now it's like, who knows what this month is going to bring.
yeah. No, it really is a mystery. And even more reason to list our death piles. So, well, I think, I mean, like I said, you are on a really good path. You know exactly what you're doing, and you're doing it. Like, I'm just so impressed and in awe.
Debatable. Debatable on the doing it part. I know what this is. It's just like everything else in life. Like a lot of times you know what you need to do. Knowing what to do is not actually the hard part, it's doing it.
Exactly, exactly. I think even with losing weight, quitting smoking, like everyone knows, like losing weight, yeah, diet and exercise. Duh, like thanks.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. But it's very hard. It's very hard to stay motivated. It's very hard to do. It's very hard not to let other things get in the way.
Hmm.
I think I probably would do better if I tried to set like some specific hours, like time blocking, like you're like, this is the time I'm going to do this. Kind of like I stay pretty up on the photos because I'm using my lunch hour. So it's like, because it only
Right.
takes me a couple minutes to eat, right? So I can use that time to list and or to take the photos. I need to kind of set up a similar time like that after work that's
Yeah.
dedicated, because otherwise you just feel like, no, dishes are more important, laundry's more important, everything's more important, right?
Right.
Than doing the listing. But no, actually not if you're making money, then it is important. It is a priority.
Absolutely. And even, yeah, just a little, maybe even half an hour, because you don't want to completely burn yourself out, at the end of the day. But even just those little moments, I think it's called the Pomodoro method. And
Mhm.
have you heard of that one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right. It's the 15-minute, and it really does. I mean, you can pick any amount of time, but just having that, yeah, mindset of, okay, it's only this amount of time. It's
Yep.
not going to be forever, right? We're not listing for eternity.
Right.
Really helps. Um, Even I know, just as like a new mom, I have to use like my minutes. So like, okay, she's occupied with that. I can photograph an item. Okay. So it is just kind of capitalizing where you can, and also just, but not stressing yourself out. Like I like to tell people, you have this idea, you want to do it after work. That's awesome. And if one day you're like, I am too tired.
Mhm.
Okay. Like we are not here to like win some like weird trophy. No, we're here to just like be healthy and make money.
Yep.
Man, well, I want to thank you so, so, so much for coming on and just talking with me and sharing all of your wonderful ideas and just sharing your light. Thank you so much, Deanna.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week for another reseller. Hold on, let me do that again. Oh, I have to edit this now. Dang it. Okay. And thank you guys for tuning in. No, okay, let's do that again. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. No, I just said tuning in.
You're gonna have a whole
Guys,
outtake reel.
I really, it would just be like a really long reel. Me, like, no, wait, hold on. No, wait, I got, no, wait, hold on. It would be that over and over again. Here we go. Okay. Maybe this will stay in. Maybe it's funny. Who knows? Whew. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune in next week for another reseller and more death piles. Catch you on the flip side. Bye bye.